Hello guys, welcome to our channel. Like we've been doing, we do interview experts who live in Czech Republic. And today we are here with one of the experts who has been living here for some time now. And then he will be taking us through visa application process, how to get here, and also studying here, as well as job opportunities that is available to students who graduate from Czech Republic. Welcome to our show. And I think it's engineer, right?
Yes, engineer, Galafin Forson. So, yes, it is a pleasure to have me on your program.
Thank you.
This day, and I've been living here in Czech Republic for the past 4 years. Yes, I came here for studies, and then after studies, I've been working with one international company here in Czech Republic. Yes, so I hail from Ejumako, the central region of Ghana, where I was born, and I've lived in Accra for a number of years, and then I followed up with studies in Kumasi, that is about 300 kilometers from the capital region that is in Accra.
Okay.
So in Kumasi, I studied for my senior high school studies.
Oh, okay. So you studied in high school in Kumasi.
High school in Kumasi.
Which school?
That's in Opukuwari.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's one of the prestigious.
Yeah.
In the Ashanti region.
Okay.
If not the best, one of the best.
I think, of course, you want a science and maths recently, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Opukuwari is well noted for the National Science and Maths quiz. So I studied in Opukuwari, where I studied business, and then I followed up with my bachelor's degree in Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, where I studied agri-business management. Yes. Then afterwards, I served as a research assistant with the Department of Agricultural Economics, Agribusiness and Extension in K University. And then I followed up with my Master of Philosophy.
Okay.
Yes, in the department, but then I put it on hold. I got an opportunity here in Czech Republic. So I commenced my master's program here in Czech Republic.
I see. Interesting. So how did you hear about Czech Republic in the first place?
Yes, okay. So initially, I really wanted to have that international exposure.
Okay.
And also, I felt I wanted to be self-dependent from my parents. You know, back home, your parents will be supporting you with studies and everything. So I just wanted to have an opportunity where I could work and also study to finance my own studies and also be more self-dependent. So I started looking for some opportunities online, and I chanced on Czech Republic.
Oh, okay.
And also there were some friends who were also studying here in Czech Republic who also seconded that it's a very good country with a lot of opportunities here for students, and also after studies there are also work opportunities for students. So I decided to look at the schools here in Czech Republic. I looked at the cities here. We have Prague, we have Brno, and then afterwards I looked at the institutions and the programs that are really tailored to my previous knowledge. So I got to know about the Czech University of Life Sciences. So that was where I studied my master's in international development and agricultural economics.
Wow. So prior to that, you never, of course, traveled to Czech. You never had any.
Yes, I that was my first exposure to Europe.
Oh, okay.
Yes, so I had previous exposure visiting some other countries, but then my first exposure for studies was in Europe, Czech Republic.
I see. That was good. So, can you take us through the application process? How is it? Because I know there are a lot of people who will be watching and who would like to know how the application process is done. At least it will serve as a guide for them to be able to go through the same process. So, how is it like?
Okay, all right. So, first and foremost, the application process, was not too tedious for me because I also had a lot of guide from some of my previous friends who are also studying here. So first and foremost, you'd have to apply to the institution.
Okay.
That is the school. And before you apply to the school, you would need your transcripts from your previous studies, that is your bachelor's degree.
Okay.
You also need your certificate that attests whether you graduated with honors, second class, upper, lower division. So you need your certificate.
Okay.
And also you need to write a motivational letter.
Letter of motivation.
Letter of motivation, or a cover letter that shows why you want to study that particular program, and then the skills that you have on board, so you can be able to complete that set program.
And do you also need some kind of letter of recommendation from your prior, like your previous university?
Okay. For my particular school, you do not really require a recommendation letter.
Okay.
But then maybe in your CV, you can provide some references. If there's a need that the study department would like to know more about you, you can reach out to your professors, where you even worked, previous work experience. Sometimes your referees will not be only professors or assistant professors in the institution, but maybe where you worked, or Ghana or any other country. So this can also be a guide if they need more information about you. But mainly it's your CV, your motivational letter, your transcripts, and then your certificate, and also your previous research work.
Research work, okay.
That is your bachelor thesis, or maybe if you have any article you have published, you can also use this as a reference, to your application.
I see.
So after these documents are submitted to the study department, they will now review the documents, and then you are then invited for a Skype interview. But currently, students are allowed to write an examination.
Okay.
So they will first do some examination based on English language and then general knowledge on the program that you want to study. So after you pass that examination, then you are now called for a Skype interview.
Okay. So it's like a two-phase interview.
Two-phase interview.
The first part is written, and the other one is oral.
Oral, yes, okay. Oral interview. So then, in my time, it was just the oral interview, but now you would have to write the examination, pass before you are now called for the oral interview. Yes. So the oral interview is basically about the program, why you want to study that program, and what do you think after you study the program, what are some of the impacts of the program on other people and also in your life, and how you are going to use it to also help others in the society.
So is it the case that they are looking for at least they are looking to see whether you have a fair idea of the program? Two, you are a bit like you are, what do you call it? Your English proficiency skills.
Skills, yes.
And also your intention of studying, whether you intend to really study or you intend to, some people have another ways, like maybe they just want to move abroad, that's why they they will use it to assess your intent,
yes,
as well as your English levels, like your skills in English language, because that will be the medium of what the lecturing, and then also your knowledge in the field.
The field, yes.
Oh, okay.
So they are going to test your knowledge in the field based on the questions you are asked in the interview.
Okay.
They will know whether you have some prior knowledge about the program or you are well equipped to study the program. Yes. So afterwards, the interview process, then they will now give feedback, whether you are accepted for the program or you are not accepted. So if you are accepted for the program, you would now have to proceed to documentation.
Okay.
So you would have to, before any document is provided to the institution here, if you are coming from a foreign, like outside the EU zone, you would have to provide some legalized documents. Yes, so back home in Ghana, you would have to legalize your academic transcripts as well as your certificate, which you provide to the institution to attest that truly you studied that program in Ghana. And also you'd have to also legalize your police report
Okay.
which you use for the interview at the embassy in Ghana.
Okay.
So the two key documents you need for the main application process is your legalization of both your transcript and certificate, and also legalization of your police report. But for the police report, you'd have to first translate it into their language, into their Czech language, and then afterwards, you would have to legalize it in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Okay. So in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you can, there are some lawyers who can first do the initial documentation for you before it is approved by the ministry, or you can go through the High Court. Okay. And get the necessary documentation, and then it's now approved at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So that is the first step, the legalization process. Okay. Then afterwards, you proceed to super legalization of the document. So you would now have to send the legalized documents to the embassy to be super legalized before you send the academic transcript and the certificates to the institution. So this document is what the institution will now say, oh, truly, you have studied that bachelor's degree in your home institution before you can enroll into their master's program. Okay. So that is the first phase of the application process. Yeah.
So that is after, if you've successfully done that, then you go through the visa application process.
Yeah.
So then the visa application process, what does it entail? They just ask questions regarding the course or the...
Okay. So before you even be given an opportunity for the visa interview, you have to book an appointment. Okay. And the same also applies for even the super legalization, which is done at the last working day of the month. It's at 8 a.m. So you'd have to book an appointment, submit your documents to the embassy. If it's approved, they will now give you a date for submitting your legalized documents for super legalization or appearing for an interview at the embassy. So when you are given a date for the interview, then on the set date, you would have to send all the necessary documents for your interview at the embassy.
Having booked the appointment with the embassy, yeah, what are some of the required documents that one needs to be able to complete the visa application process?
Okay, so for the visa application process, you have to provide them with your police report that has been super legalized by the embassy. Okay. And also you need a bank statement because you are going to study in Czech Republic. You need a proof of funds. Okay. So the proof of funds usually should be around, in Czech crown, it should be about 120,000 Czech crowns, so equivalent in cedi. That is the going rate. Okay. When you should have in Ghana cedis in your account. Okay.
So 120,000 Czech crowns.
Oh. Yes. Currently, it should be maybe about old Ghana cedis. 1 billion. That's the old Ghana cedi. But the new Ghana cedis is 100,000 Ghana cedis currently. Okay. It should be around that amount of money. Yes.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then during my time, the equivalent was about 25,000 Ghana cedis.
Okay. So
in my time, it was equivalent to 25,000 Ghana cedis. But currently, it should be around 100,000 Ghana cedis, proof of funds. And you also need to provide them with your admission letter that was sent by the institution to you in Ghana. And also you need your, yes, I think these are basically the documents.
So with the proof of funds, is it also possible that an applicant can use its relation, family, or uncle, or what do you call it, like parents' bank statement for the application process, or the applicant needs to have that proof of funds in his personal account?
Okay, the applicant needs the proof of funds in his account, in his name, as well as even a visa card with the full name just as it appears on the bank statement.
The bank statement.
So they'll need a proof of funds in the applicant's account. So if your relative wants to support your studies, they would have to send the money to your personal account.
Okay.
So you prove your funds from your personal account, but you are being supported by a relative. They wouldn't accept your relative's statement as a proof of evidence for your studies in Czech Republic.
Oh. So, assuming that someone who just graduated from university or have even just worked for a year, how will the person be able to raise such an amount within a year or maybe after graduating? How can you raise an amount of 120,000 Czech crowns, knowing the circumstances with employment and also with salaries? So it's like impossible, you know?
Yeah. But some way, somehow, I think there's some possibility because some of these programs here are funded by the Czech government, so the tuition is very low. But for the proof of funds, sometimes you can even talk to some of these banking institutions. Sometimes when you get a personal appointment with some of these managers,
Okay.
and then you discuss with them, maybe there is some, there can be some portfolio for maybe students who want to study outside. If they will need some proof of funds, you may not know. Maybe there will be some kind of agreement between the applicant and the bank to provide some money for proof of evidence. I don't know, but probably there may be some of these resources available by the banking institution. And one thing about this process I would even like to point out is that you wouldn't get it like as a straight course. Sometimes you have to start, and then when you get to the final stage, that is when you may even get somebody to support you for the proof of evidence of your funds. But when you start with the process and then you have the view that I wouldn't get that money into the account, so I wouldn't start, then you are not going to make headways. So sometimes you have to kickstart, and then as the process goes, you are going to get somebody to support you with the amount of money.
Yes. That's okay. So, I guess Nana has given us a very extensive description of how the process goes. And if you are interested in applying for school and you're willing to relocate, it will be very important for you to pay attention to the details he has really elaborated. So now let's come to being here, coming to school. So can you, like, how is the studies here, like, you know, if you compare it to back home, what are some of the differences you've observed? And then
I think the studies here is very flexible. Looking at even the calendar, the timetable for studies is very flexible. We have usually main lectures and even seminars, but then you have some free time on your timetable for even other activities. Yes, so students have the opportunity to write the exam 3 times.
Okay.
So if you go for the first attempt and you are not even successful, you can go in for the second attempt, and you have even the opportunity for the third attempt.
Okay.
Yes, so you can even choose when you want to even write your exams, because the lecturer can give about 5 or 6 dates where you have 3 opportunities to take it at any point in time.
Okay.
So if, for example, you are studying for quantitative methods, there can be one date on the 1st of January, another date on 2nd February, another date maybe on the 15th, another date on the 18th. So if you want to go for your first attempt on the 2nd of February, you can go for the first attempt. If you are not successful, you can go for the second attempt. So I think there is some flexibility compared to when we studied back home. You have just one opportunity to pass the examination, and then if you don't, you have to go for the reset.
For that is next year.
The next academic year.
So the exams are written and marked on the same day, and you get your results almost the same day, right?
Almost the same day, yeah. Or maximum in three days you would receive your results from the lecturer. So some courses you would have to take not only the written,
okay,
but you go for an oral oral examination with the lecturer. So the lecturer will test your knowledge on the course course content that you have really studied. And even sometimes some lecturers may even opt for only oral examination to really test your knowledge. You know, it's a master's degree or PhD. So even if you are taking some taught courses, they will really want to know that you really understand the course that you have studied. And even not only that, students will also have the opportunity to even present their project works,
assignments,
so there are a lot of presentations. So you'll be able to build a lot of confidence, public speaking, sharing ideas, and it's teamwork. So it's very good. It's very good opportunity.
So let's also look at the class sizes, because I know that you've had 2 experiences back home here. Let's look at the classroom nature, number of people in a class, with compare this place and back home. How is it? What's the difference?
Oh, okay. So for here, you may have maybe approximately 25 to 30 students sitting for a particular class. But students will also have the opportunity to select their optional courses that they want to take. We have compulsory courses for that particular program, and then you have optional courses where you can select. But back home, usually we have these courses that you are supposed to study for. For my institution, you have to study these 6 compulsory courses. The courses are compulsory for the semester. But here you have the opportunity to select some optional courses that you would like to take. But for graduate studies, you have the opportunity to select some courses in addition to the optional courses. You can choose, it's just like here, for graduate studies in my institution, you can choose some courses that you want to study in addition to the optional courses. So yes, I think it's very good, and yeah.
Because I quite remember those days when I was studying. In my class, we were about 12 people, and even the 12, there are some courses that will only be 5 people in that class. So when you look at the classroom size, the number of teachers, and something, you have the teacher, you have there's sometimes that teacher assistant or maybe who is like a PhD student usually, or maybe an assistant with him. And looking at the number of students that he has, there's enough class, student-teacher interaction.
Yes.
It helps build, your knowledge and also understanding of the entire course.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, if you compare it back home where you have maybe 500 people in one lecture or 400 people in one lecture, it's virtually impossible for a student to be able sometimes to grasp the entire content of the course.
Yeah.
It's just that you just need to follow through, and then you also graduate from this.
Yeah. For example, if here we do more oral, as I said, so there are some oral examinations. So let's take it back home. The lecturer would like to do even an oral examination for the students. You see, it's a very large class. It's impossible. Yes. So usually we test the knowledge of the students with examinations.
Yeah.
Yes. Or even sometimes in personal contact with the students in class. That is when the person answers questions and then presentations. So you'll be able to see those who are really participating in the class. But here, because it's a smaller class size, the lecturers have a lot of contact with the students and how they are performing, and even if there are any weaknesses that they will need to build upon, the lecturers can give them some necessary support. It's very clearly seen. Yeah.
And even, I think you even obtain marks even based on your classroom participation. Yeah. That is also a prerequisite to examination, because you sometimes need to have some amount of amount of marks, that you can acquire from classroom participation as well as your assignments. Yeah. So you get marks even during classroom participation. So wow, so that's good. So let's also look at that. What are the opportunities available to someone who graduates from Czech Republic?
Okay.
Like schools, universities, accredited university in Czech Republic. I use the word accredited because there are some universities that may not be accredited.
Yeah. Okay. So I think there's a wide job market here in Czech Republic. I think last year unemployment was pegged about 13% here in Czech Republic.
No, I think it's 2%.
It's 2%, right?
Okay. Yeah. I think the whole of Europe, Czech Republic has the least unemployment.
The least unemployment.
I think 2%, yeah.
2%, okay.
Or
So
2.5 or something like that, or less than that.
less than that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. So unemployment is very low in Czech Republic generally. Unemployment is very low in this country. So there are a lot of job opportunities, a lot of multinational organizations here that have their operations here in Czech Republic. So whether you are studying in finance, you can get a role in an accounting firm. We have the Johnson and Johnsons here. We have the PwCs,
Novartis,
Microsoft. We have the DHLs. We have the Amazon. We have a lot of companies here where whatever you are studying, data analysis, finance, engineering. There are a lot of engineering companies here, so there's a huge job market for students here in Czech Republic, and the conditions here are very good. When you even complete your studies, you have free access to the labor market here in Czech Republic. So you wouldn't, as soon as you get a company, the company will provide you with a contract where you can apply for your work permit. Unlike even in other countries, like comparatively to the UK, you need sponsorship for you getting your work permit. But here, the company is sponsoring you directly by providing you with your job contract, which you can get your work permit. So
that is great, Alice, you see. So it means that it's quite simpler to get into the system in Czech Republic as compared to other countries. Yeah. All right. So now let's look at our social life in Czech Republic.
For Czech Republic, I can say it's a very nice place. You know, there are a lot of social activities always happening. Usually from Thursday, Fridays, there are a lot of movie centers. There are a lot of clubs here. I think it's one of the major countries here when it comes to social life and activities. There are a lot of activities here in Prague, the capital city. So I think Czech Republic is very nice. We sometimes even have programs where we have we the foreigners, especially those from even African descent. We have groups where we meet, we have picnics. So we come with barbecues, we come with some food, we share, we talk, we interact, we make friends, we discuss about school, we discuss about work, we even share opportunities with other people so that we can help each other within the society.
That's good. It's like getting a social support within your own, within your own group of people who are living here.
Yes.
That's nice. And then, is there some certain things particular, like if some particular thing that you like about Prague or Czech Republic?
Oh, I think it's very good. When you get access to Europe, you also get the opportunity to also visit other places here in Czech Republic. You really experience the culture of the people within here and also other EU countries. So I think it's a very good opportunity. If you come here for studies, you also get the opportunity to also travel to other EU countries. You also get the opportunity to get some international exposure, even in class. People from Philippines, people from the US, people from
different parts of the world.
You will learn even about their culture and the way of life of people from different parts of the world.
Okay. So have you experienced any culture shock since you moved there? Like the first time you came here, the first week, how was it to you?
Yes, one thing I really realized in Czech Republic was how effective the transportation system is.
Oh, okay, yeah. Not the trotro side type.
Not the trotro. The transportation system is very effective in this country. And me staying in this country, having some exposure from other countries, I realized that the transportation system in Czech Republic, I'll even rate it as number one.
Yeah,
it's very effective.
I think it's part of the first top 5 countries in the world.
With transportation system, very effective transportation system. We have the trams, we have the buses, we have the subways, the metro that connects to every part of Prague. So in other cities too, they have the buses and then the trams. So I think the transportation system I didn't know that transportation system could be very effective like this. And I really saw that here in Czech Republic. It was a big shock for me because I didn't know that. Oh, okay, wherever you are staying, you can get a bus, tram that
You can calculate the number of minutes you want to go somewhere.
Yes, and they hardly delay.
Yeah.
So if you are to catch a tram at 7, you should be at the stop to catch the tram, and at 7 the tram will be there.
Wow.
Hardly, even if it delays, which is not very often, about 1 or 2 minutes delay, but then it's very effective. And I'm also speaking not only based on my experience in Czech Republic or even back home, but also in other places
that you have traveled.
I've traveled to. Some of them, their transportation system is not very effective.
Yeah, I completely understand. Okay, so any other thing that you see, like you were shocked the first time aside the transport, like when you...
Oh, also it was even the food.
Yeah.
Yes, I was not really exposed to some of the dishes. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think there was one meal I took. It was potato, mashed potato with, yes, is it, they call it potato goulash or what?
No. So I think that would be no goulash is some soup with beef in it, or it can be pork and then with some dumplings,
Yeah.
But that one I think is is it not the mashed potato with chicken?
Yes, on mashed potato with chicken and then some sauce. I was not really exposed to this kind of mashed.
It's called brambor. Is it brambor or match or something like that? Brambor or match or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was very tasty. Like I really enjoyed it, the food, and yeah, it's very good. But also, I was also very shocked about the rate at which people even take even alcohol. Of
course,
yes.
Czech and beer.
Yeah,
they are synonymous.
Yes, very synonymous. I think beer is even less expensive than even water.
Yeah, before. I think now it's going to be expensive because they put on some kind of taxes. Like I think it has got some VAT on it now.
Some VAT on it now.
And food commodities, they've taken some VAT off. They're giving them some flat rate of VAT.
Flat rate of VAT. Okay. So, yeah, people, there's...
Yeah, because back home when someone is drinking, everyone looks at you, yeah? But here, when you're drinking, it's like something fun, like fancy.
Fancy, yeah. So it's like somebody taking beer like water, he's working and he's taking his beer. Yeah, so yeah, it's very nice. Czech Republic is a very nice place. I've really experienced a lot like in this country. And it's also giving me a different perspective of even how to interact with people. Yes.
So it has changed your perspective.
Living here has really changed my perspective, my interaction with people, how I perceive things, like how I see people, how I interact with people, how I also, it's giving me some even opportunities where I feel even back home you can even implement. That can even help our country, even our institutions, when you get even an opportunity to even lecture back home. If you are to return home, then you also know how to also to even deliver to students, how to ensure that there's a lot of engagement. For example, if you have students who are you are supervising some students, you know how to go about with the research supervision, and show a lot of engagement between you and the students.
Okay, that's good. So what advice would you give out to people who will be interested in applying or who will be interested in relocating to Czech Republic? What advice would you give to?
I would like to say Czech Republic is one of the best countries one can look at for studies. The cost of living is very low comparatively to even other EU countries. The studies too is very subsidized. There are some subsidized scholarship by the government. And even if the scholarship is not provided by the institution, the fees is relatively lower compared to even other places. North America, in even other EU countries like Germany and even in Sweden and even other countries, unless probably you are getting some free tuition in some of these places. But generally, it's very good. The people are welcoming. And also, you meet people too from other places, you make some friends and everything. So it's very good. You get that international exposure. You can also travel, see other parts of the world. So it's a very good opportunity for students who are back home and are looking for opportunity outside for studies. So Czech Republic is one of the best countries I would recommend.
What about the Czech women?
Oh, they are very open.
Is that
They are very open, but then you can't just, for example, maybe if I'm back home, maybe you are working.
They're beautiful too.
Very beautiful, yeah. You can't just bump into somebody and then, unless maybe it depends on you, just have to study the mood and then see if you can engage into a conversation. But usually the best places is when you have to work in school. You can get some friends. You go to the
park
pub
or maybe in
or
a
maybe
club.
in a club. You can meet some people there. You can just interact with them and then you can form some friendship there.
Or also through application.
Yes, and even through there, yes. And even sometimes if you are also very good student, you can get some friends in school, through studies here and there. So yeah.
So it's not like you see a lady passing by, you just raise your hand or you just say,
no.
Not that way?
No. You
Really?
can't do that, no.
You can't do that here?
No. The social system is not, it's not conducive for some of these days. You may end up being, somebody may say you are even harassing.
Yeah, sexual harassment. Because
yes.
the content of sexual harassment is just complicated to understand. So,
yes.
Exactly. I see.
So it's best when you get in touch with people at some gatherings and everything, then you can see how best you can interact with them. But the best places are when you are working, school, and also in a club, or maybe your friend invites you for a program, and then you can
kind of get together.
Then you can make some friends there. So generally, the people are nice. Everyone is focused on what they are doing. When you are sitting, even in a tram, people will be reading their books.
Yeah.
Everyone is minding their business in the tram.
That's also what the culture of reading, especially when I came here. I've never seen old people, everyone reading,
Yeah.
like in Czech Republic.
Yeah.
When you are in the bus, everybody's reading, like everybody's busy with a book, which you will not find, which is not quite common in our part of the world.
They would like to do. One thing I would say, the Czechs would like to observe more. They observe more, and they read more. You see them in the trams. They would rather look at you rather than, back home you'll be like, hey, sure, look at this, but they'll observe, like they are not observing, but they are really seeing what you are doing. It's not really their business. They are focused on what they are doing, but they would like to see, but yeah. And one even shocking experience I had here is, for example, if maybe someone is not feeling well, like you are outdoor and someone is not feeling well, maybe faints or something, the best they can do is to call the ambulance.
No one will
touch you. Because maybe they don't have knowledge on medical applications or whatever, so they can't do anything. The best, they'll call the ambulance to come and they will check you. Professional to come and check you. So yes, I think the system is very well organized here in Czech Republic.
I see. Okay, so what do you call it? If you have some people that you would like to say shout out to, I think. If it's back home or here that you really like to say shout out to.
Oh, okay. So I would like to say a very big thank you to my parents. They've been very supportive. Mr. and Mrs. Chumesi also. They've been very supportive in my studies here in Czech Republic and providing me with a lot of encouragement to keep pushing in life. I would also like to thank my professors back home, Department of Agriculture, Economics, Agribusiness and Extension, particularly to Professor Nimo. During my national service as a research assistant, he was very supportive. And I always like to say thank you to him. I also give thanks to my siblings always for providing me with a lot of encouragement. Back here, studying, working, they've always been a great support to me. I'd like to say a very big thank you to them as well.
Okay. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Kado. It's a pleasure.
Okay. Hello, guys. So please do like and share our videos with your friends and families. We will bring you more episodes as the day go by. Thank you so much for your time. Ahoy.